All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin is still kind of just ranging, being boring here, but you can see today and yesterday we did rotate the value area of the range that we have been in now for about 2 weeks. And you could see yesterday morning, Sunday morning-ish, we hit into the value area low of the range. We were able to hold the value area low of the range again. We pumped up to the value area high of the range. But let me say this was also the bearish back test of our bigger Fibonacci trend line, Fibonacci channel trend line, after breaking down below it and maintaining below it since last Friday. And upon the bearish backtest of our value area high and our Fibonacci channel trend line, we did reject, came down to POC, saw a small bounce from POC, rejected from local golden pocket, very, very local golden pocket. And now we have rotated down to the value area low, and we are bouncing from the value area low. But guys, just like earlier today, how we came up into value area high, rejected, came down to golden pocket, bounced up to our local golden pocket area. Came down to POC, and then we bounced up to our local golden pocket area and made a lower high on that golden pocket, and then continued to flush down to the value area low. We might be expecting something right now. Now that we are bouncing relatively recently here in the last few hours from the value area low, you can see that POC is also going to be where the VWAP is for the day. Now, we do get the VWAP close in 10 minutes, but if we do, now that we have rejected value area high, rejected a lower high golden pocket, and rotated back down to value area low, there is a possibility that we could come up to this POC in confluence with the VWAP, reject this area, and then finally come down and take out our lows of 115.6-ish, 115.7. So I am looking still, just like I've been talking about all last week, really since Friday, to come down and take out our lows, actually since Tuesday, to take out these lows in a bigger three-wave corrective move to the downside. And I do think there is a possibility that if we do reject this point of control on this push up here, that we will see a move down to take those lows. But overall, Bitcoin is maintaining really well its range near the macro resistance. And we did say the day we hit into this macro resistance, we were expecting to form a range in here. This is our area where we expect to see ranges. And we are at the top of a macro fib channel here. Let me go ahead and turn off these naked dailies. You can see we're at the top of a macro resistance. We did reject from that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction. And so we are in a possible wave 4 here of a corrective move to the downside, which will take some time. We want that corrective move to be longer than your wave 2, which I do believe that was about 8 or 9 days. And so now it has become a little bit longer than that, but this correction could continue a little bit longer. On the daily time frame, our money flow is about to cross over into the red. Your momentum wave has topped out here, but we are not seeing bear divs on Market Cipher B. And on NAMI, you can see we have already bottomed out and are seeing a green dot on our momentum wave. And the money flow, more importantly, is starting to come to the upside again here on the daily time frame. So overall, I am still expecting to come down to grab the liquidity below those range lows, but I would like to see, I do think that Bitcoin is still in its bigger impulse to the upside. 1, 2, 1, 2. You have your 3 here. We're in a 4. We should see a couple more highs to complete this impulse that we're seeing here on the daily time frame. And so I am still expecting new all-time highs to come in on Bitcoin. But right now, this range that we have formed for the past 2 weeks have been absolutely great opportunity to go altcoin shopping and to really trade some of the altcoins that are starting to break out. As we know, and we've been talking about a lot on this channel and in the live streams, we have been following Bitcoin dominance. So let me go ahead and go into Bitcoin dominance really quickly here. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance because some very, very important things are happening on the Bitcoin dominance chart. First, let me go ahead and zoom out to the 2-day chart and let's talk about our larger trend. Our larger trend on Bitcoin dominance since March of 2023, we have been grinding in this ascending channel, this bullish structure on dominance. This whole bull season has been dominated by Bitcoin, and we have been seeing Bitcoin hold up and pump far more than the altcoins have. And what we were looking for is a really hitting into the top of the channel, which we did, seeing a rejection. And we did say back here in May, at the beginning of May, if we did lose this midline, I expected a rotation to the bottom of the channel. Well, we bounced from the midline, and you can see we came up and made one more high on Bitcoin dominance, just barely coming above the highs from the rejection at the top of the channel. And it's also around where our macro POC is, point of control of the range. But now we have broken structure bearishly on the dominance. Dominance is dropping harshly, giving the altcoins an opportunity to run against Bitcoin. And especially if Bitcoin is holding up well in a range and dominance is dropping like this, that really means that altcoins are starting to take off, and we're starting to see the altcoin season shift into gear here. So what is very, very important here, now I want to zoom in, we're on the 2-day chart, and you can see the last lows at 60, pretty much 62%, 61.99%. I've had these marked out because this was a major break in market structure. If we break these lows, we'd be breaking high time frame market structure bearishly. So now that our attention is on those lows, let's zoom in here, and I want to show you what happened on the Bitcoin dominance chart. You can see that we broke down below those lows. We actually came back up for a little back test of those lows, rejected on the back test. Let me zoom in on the 2 hours so you can get a better look at that. Rejected multiple times on the back test of those lows, and are continuing to drop, even losing the bottom of our ascending channel trend that has been our trend since March of 2023. There's only one more time in the last 2 years of this price action where we have lost that channel and saw a deviation to the downside. And that was back in December of 2024 when a lot of altcoins really rallied and made some highs. So if Bitcoin dominance is going to close, really, I want to see a weekly close below this trend line, the channel trend line. If we see a weekly candle close below this trend line, we could see a really big altcoin season, and we could even see Bitcoin dominance drop all the way back down to 55%. And that would allow the altcoins to really, really rally against Bitcoin. So I am looking for the altcoin breakout to continue against Bitcoin, but we are at a local support level around these local lows here with Bitcoin dominance, and we could see a rotation up over the next day or two or week to backtest that channel now that we're losing it, to bearishly backtest that trend. And if we do reject on the bearish backtest of that trend, I do expect dominance to continue to fall to the downside and for altcoins to continue to pump against Bitcoin. But the fact that we have lost our 62% lows and on lower time frames bearishly backtested those lows and confirmed rejection and confirmed lower is a really good sign that altcoins really want to rally against Bitcoin. So let's look at our daily chart. You can see on our daily chart, we are now, yesterday was our first candle break below that trend line that has been holding that our important trend. And now that we're breaking below it, we closed the daily candle below it. But today's daily candle was a full opening close below that candle. It's about to close in 4 minutes. So I'm assuming that it's going to close below that trend line. So with dominance really starting to break the trend of the last 2.5 years, we could see these altcoins continue to rally. And I have been shifting my focus to the altcoin trades and have been having some really great trades on the altcoins. And if you guys have been following my live streams for the past couple of weeks, you guys know that we have mapped out a lot of trades ahead of time and we have executed on those trades. So this is Bitcoin dominance. That's Bitcoin in a nutshell. Bitcoin is just ranging. I do think if we break the value area low of our small range, we will see that dump to take liquidity. Right now, we're just trading the range. And what do we say about range trading? Trade the range until it breaks. Look for shorts near the highs of the range. Look for longs near the lows of the range. So you could see if you would have shorted the value area high and the back test of the channel, that would have been a decent scalp trade. And then if you long the value area low, looking for even a lower high, then that is a good scalp trade. But Bitcoin is continuing to range here, and alts are really starting to shift and pop off. So I would like to spend some time on some of the altcoins here. We're just going to cover the normal altcoins. If you guys have requests for altcoins, you can join the live streams. And if you guys request an altcoin, I will go over that with you guys in the live streams. Live streams are going to be happening Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you're interested, come join us. Okay, guys, before we go into the altcoins, I do want to announce we have a few partners of the channel. So we do have BYDFI. This exchange is a non-KYC exchange. No KYC needed. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. They are offering my affiliates who use my affiliate link. If you deposit $100, you can get a 50% deposit bonus on that $100. Really good first deposit bonus. And then they're offering various 10 to 20% deposit bonuses depending on how much you deposit in the exchange. You do get a minimum of a 17% discount on your trading fees, but you can get higher discounts on trading fees depending on the amount you deposit. They're also offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade in your futures markets. And I have partnered with BYDFI, and we have created a Telegram group where me and other BYDFI agents, I guess you could say, are posting some trade setups in there. And if you want access to that Telegram group, all you need to do, it's free to join, but you do need to sign up with an affiliate link with BYDFI, and you need to deposit $100. So for me, that's a win-win for everyone. You guys get a 50% deposit bonus, discounts on your trading fees, and access to a Telegram group. And the affiliate also helps my channel a little bit. So if you guys are interested in that, links are in the description below. The second partner of the channel is NAMI. NAMI is a momentum and money flow indicator that I use for entry and exit confirmations on my trade, along with Market Cipher B. And NAMI is running a 50% off special for a limited time. If you're interested in purchasing NAMI, the link is in the description, and the discount code Divine50 is in the description as well. I do not know how much longer that discount code is going to be running, so if you guys want to check out NAMI, I recommend you do that while the discount code is still there. And then we do have MEXC. MEXC has opened and launched a new campaign where they are offering $20. If you deposit $100 on the exchange, you get $20 free, so a 20% deposit bonus on the exchange. And you can get up to $300 just for trading futures. You can earn up to $300. So that link is in the description for MEXC. And then lastly, we do have Bybit. I have now partnered with Bybit as well. And there is an affiliate link in the description if you guys want to sign up for Bybit. Bybit is one of the largest derivative trading platforms out there, and they are doing up to $30,000 in bonuses depending on your trading volume. They're doing a bunch of different campaigns right now, and they will be launching some new campaigns with me soon. So all the links are in the description below. Let's get back to the TA here. And guys, last time we covered Ethereum. Let me zoom out on Ethereum. We were talking about a breakout and a continuation, possibly all the way up to 45.35, up to about $4,500. And this breakout that we're seeing, let me turn off some of these daily levels here, so clean up the chart. So this breakout that we're seeing on Ethereum, breaking above the value area high of our 1.5 year long range, but also breaking above the value area high of our 4-year long range. And Ethereum is continuing to show strength to the upside, continuing to pretty much push straight up with increased volume to the upside, giving me the bias that this push that we're seeing up here is actually part of a third wave of an Elliott impulse from the lows, from our 1,300, 1,400 lows. We are possibly seeing a 5-wave impulse to the upside, where your third wave is expected to end. The target, the most common target for that third wave, is that 1.618 Fibonacci extinction. And guess what, guys? That 1.618 happens to be in perfect confluence with the top of the pitchfork band. And we know how these pitchforks work. It's just like a volume profile. As you work your way up, you can see when we came up to the lower band, we chopped around in the lower band for a couple weeks, broke above it. Then we came up to the midline, we chopped around for a couple months, held it as support, saw one deviation below it, was able to get back above it, back test it, and we're pumping to the upper band. Now that we are breaking the value area high of our major ranges and the upper band of the pitchfork, we might expect that rotation, a high probability to rotate, to continue pumping up to the top of the pitchfork, which would also be your target for your wave 3 impulse to end. And then once we get up there, of course, we'll be expecting a small pullback in a wave 4 before one more last push up in a wave 5, potentially breaking all-time highs, breaking up to new levels of price discovery on Ethereum, thus completing our big impulse to the upside. So I am still bullish on Ethereum, and the fact that Ethereum is closing multiple daily candles above the value area high of the range of both of our important high time frame ranges is very bullish to me, and I do expect continuation. Now we are starting to get a little bit topped out here as far as our momentum waves are going. Our momentum wave has topped out and it's starting to roll over. And you can see money flow is topped out a bit here on Market Cipher B. Now on NAMI, money flow still looks very bullish, and the money flow is going to dictate the overall trend here. So as long as this money flow, and we do have slight bear divs on the daily on NAMI, higher highs in the price action here, lower highs in the momentum waves, but it's not the best looking bear div, and that money flow is going to overpower it. So I do overall expect Ethereum to continue pumping, potentially straight up to 4,500. Not straight up there. We will see some daily red candles within that, within this push to the upside. But overall, I expect this more daily time frame impulse to continue up to potentially 45.34. But if we do see a small pullback, we are above these lower highs here, and if we do reject from this area and we see a little bit of a pullback, there's a couple areas that I will be watching specifically for Ethereum to get a bounce on lower time frames and maybe potential scalp long opportunities to take it up to that $4,500 area. So I did post about this in the Telegram yesterday, but the main area that I am going to be watching is the backtest of the bottom of the pitchfork band. This is our upper pitchfork band here, and you can see the first time we came up to it, we did reject. Then we were able to flip it to support, and we actually longed this flip to support to bring up to the top of the band. That was a really good scalp trade that we also gave in the Telegram group. And now if we do start to lose this momentum here that we're seeing to the upside, and we start to break market structure bearishly, first off, I do expect a small bounce at the upper part of the band, which is going to be coming in right around 34.50, 34.40, or 36, excuse me, 36.50 to 36.40. But I am really looking at the major support level being that support level of the backtest, the bullish backtest of our value area high of our 4-year range, which is also in perfect confluence with the backtest of the bottom of the pitchfork band. And that is going to be coming in right around 34.20 to 34.10. So this is an area where if we are grinding our way down to that area, and making local bull divs on the charts as we are grinding our way down to that area, I will look for a long opportunity, a long scalp opportunity from that 34.10 area to bring all the way up. My final TP would be around that 34 or 45.34, 45.35 area. Now, if you're looking at this trade, the stop loss, I would probably put my stop loss below these local lows around 3,300, 3,310. And that is a potential trade that I'm looking for on Ethereum to continue this impulse to the upside. But overall, I would say Ethereum looking bullish still. I do expect continuation higher with some small pullbacks along the way, and we might be about to get one of those pullbacks now. We are on the 2-hour chart, and you can see on the 2-hour chart, we have been building that bear div all really through this last week up here. Lower highs on the momentum waves pretty consistently here. Lower highs on the money flow. So we have not only a momentum bear div, but we have a money flow bear div, and money flow now is consistently draining out of the asset on the 2-hour time frame. Multiple drives of bear div, and this bear div could start to play out here, and we could see that drop to about 3,400, 34.10, 34.11. And if we do, I'll just be looking at that as an opportunity for another long, a scalp long position. If we zoom out onto the 4-hour chart, 4-hour is showing those bear divs as well. You can see lower highs in the momentum waves. Actually, we have a triple drive now of bear div on the 4-hour. Higher highs on the money flow, lower highs on the momentum waves. But as I always say on this channel, the money flow will always overpower a single drive of bear divs. So when we had this drive of bear divs here where my cursor's at now, our money flow was still looking really, really bullish, and we were expecting one more drive of bear divs to come in before that 4-hour bear div really started to play out. Now we do have that third drive of bear div, that third hump, and money flow has been draining out of the asset here for the past couple of days. NAMI, you can see as well, confirmed the bear divs. Money flow is actually crossed into the red, kind of saw a fake out into the red, came back into the green, and now is draining back into the red, but it gave us a triple drive of bear div on the money flow here. You can see higher high, lower high here. So we do have a triple drive of bear div on money flow on NAMI, and that is a signal that I am paying attention to. So seeing a bit of a small pullback from this area would not surprise me. And I do think Ethereum is going to continue to rally overall. But that is about it for Ethereum. I mean, we do have some new daily levels. We do have a daily level above us at 39.87. And we could continue to grind up slowly here in this trend that we're seeing now until we actually hit that daily and then really start to see the 4 hour bear divs play out. I would actually like that would be preferred for me. I do have a take profit set at that 39.87 area, that daily area. And I will look to re-add if we come down to that 3,400 area. And other than that, though, guys, there's not much left on the chart here for Ethereum to break up to that $4,500 level. We do have, of course, the swing failure pattern of the cycle highs. If we look at, on the daily time frame, we do have that potential swing failure pattern up at 4109, and that SFP will be something that I would be looking at. But honestly, I'm looking for Ethereum to continue up to about that $4,500 area. That is it for Ethereum. Now let's go ahead and go into Solana here. Solana, guys, we talked about this in Friday's live stream. We talked about this in yesterday's live stream. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. I've been expecting Solana to pump up to that 190 to about 199 area of resistance. And this is our area, our big box of resistance that is our macro resistance on the chart, that if Solana can break above this, I do see a pretty clean shot up to that 231 to 235 area of resistance. And Solana, long story short, we got back within the volume profile, flipped the point of control to support, and because we had front run the last big impulse to the upside on the daily time frame that I'm circling here on the charts, really between April and the end of May, so for 2 months we were pushing to the upside in this impulse. You can see this high here at 187. We had front run the actual touch of the value area high. This is that value area high. Right now it's coming in around 189. But back then it was actually even a little bit higher. It was around 192. So if we bring it back here, you can see that value area was about 193. So we had front run the actual resistance of our golden pocket. This is our macro logarithmic golden pocket that's coming in between 191 and 199, I'm going to say. And that was also our year and a half long range value area high. So the last time in late May, we had front run that area of resistance and saw a pretty big correction to the downside, correcting down to our golden pocket at $130. But now we are breaking market structure bullishly on the daily time frame again, continuing another impulse to the upside. And I was expecting this impulse to at least bring us up to SFP, those 187 highs, into our macro value area high and into our macro logarithmic golden pocket. Well, we are in this resistance zone now, and be aware because Solana could form a range in this general area, and if it loses the value area high at 187, we could see a much bigger dump to the downside, potentially coming all the way back down to our anchored VWAP around 164. But right now, Solana's looking strong. Yes, money flow on the daily time frame is starting to come down over the past couple days on Market Cipher B, and on Market Cipher B, our momentum wave is looking really toppy here. So be aware that this is our major resistance area on the chart, and we are seeing some signs that we could get a bit of a pullback here. But if Solana can break above this really like $200 level, because we also have a naked monthly point of control at 197.94, so about $198. We hit into that today. We are seeing a small rejection from the 0.65 log golden pocket and that naked monthly point of control. But if we can break above 199, then I do expect us a kind of a clean shot up to that 235 area of resistance above us. And that area above us, we do have, let's see, what was it? It was a monthly level and a naked weekly point of control up there. Naked weekly point of control and a monthly level, and then a daily level as well. So this area of resistance up here is the next big area. Yes, we do have a daily level at 216, and that could kind of be like the intermission area. Same thing as ETH has, that daily level in between its main resistance above. But overall, I think that if we break 200, we have a clean shot up to that 232 to 235 area of resistance. Yes, we are in resistance though, guys. Be aware. I just took profit on 75% of my long position that I opened from much, much lower. And I am even looking to short this area. I have not shorted yet. I do not see confirmation to short on the chart yet because money flow still looks pretty bullish here. But if we do start to break local market structure bearishly, then I will look for shorts to bring down to that anchored VWAP around 164. This is an area where we could absolutely start to form a range. And what's going to be key now, guys, is our value area high that is coming in right around 189. This value area high, as long as we can maintain above this value area high at 189, then we could see Solana break this range of the past year and a half, and we could continue to pump up to that 230 area, potentially even up to 275. Not quite looking up there yet, but this could be a nice giant impulse to the upside on Solana as well, where we're seeing the wave one, wave two, of wave three that brings us all the way up to 275 before seeing a pullback and a fifth wave to kind of end the bull market on a nice weekly impulse to the upside. This will absolutely take time to happen. But this is Solana's looking strong. If we look on the 8-hour chart, money flow still looks very bullish. We did invalidate our local 8-hour bear divs on Solana, and it looks strong. We are at resistance right now, and I have not shorted because I have not seen confirmation to short, but it does look strong here, and I do think that we might break to the upside. We might continue pushing to the upside here. As far as our 2-hour, no real bear divs on the chart locally, neither on NAMI or Market Cipher B, and money flow still looks pretty bullish on both of these as well. If we zoom in onto the 1-hour chart, 1-hour money flow looks very bullish on NAMI and Market Cipher B, and also NAMI did just print a hidden bull div signal. Now, guys, I've been harping on these hidden div signals and on NAMI. Anytime we see the money flow looking really, really bullish on Market Cipher B, and we get a little bit of a pullback, and NAMI prints that hidden bullish, whatever, hidden bull or hidden bear div signals, but those hidden div signals, then it does suggest that continuation is most probable here. And so, yes, we're at resistance, but we are seeing some very bullish indications on our momentum waves, on our indicators here that are letting us know that we might continue breaking to the upside, coming up to that 230 level, 232 level. Other than that, guys, it's looking strong. And the key thing for me is if we lose 189, I expect a bigger pullback. But we could even reject from where we're at now. We're right about 198 right now. We're at the monthly naked point of control and the golden pocket 6.5 resistance. If we do reject here, only to fall down to 189 and we hold 189 locally as support, then I do expect us to push and break this resistance and continue up to the 232 region. So our most key level on the chart locally now is going to be $189. If we can maintain $189, even if we see a pullback from where we're at now, but we can flip $189 to support, I do expect continuation up to 232. If we lose $189, then I do expect that bigger pullback to come in, and we could be looking down to the anchored VWAP at 164. We also do know that we did have some other local key levels of support in that area. Let's see, daily level is at, we do have a daily level at 177, a new daily, but it was, let's see, was it naked daily points of control around that area? And I believe there was a Fibonacci, which is now going to change. So let's pull our Fibonacci from the last big 4-hour low to the new 4-hour high. And yeah, that 786 is going to be right around that area. 786, naked daily point of control, and the anchored VWAP. The reason why I'm watching this anchored VWAP so much is it's our anchored VWAP from the all-time high. And if Solana is going to maintain its bullish trend, then we really want to maintain above the anchored VWAP of the all-time high. Very, very locally, I am watching 189 for support. All indications are that Solana does continue higher, or we could start to form a range at this resistance area and then decide what happens from there. But it's looking pretty strong here overall on Solana. Okay, now let's go into Sui. Sui, guys, is pretty much still being boring. Sui did have its big breakout, and we've covered this many times on the channel, so I'm not going to go too into depth on this, but we broke out of our big descending channel, which has been our corrective trend really since November of 2024, or actually since the highs, January of 2025, for about 7 months now, 7.5 months. We've been in a larger bearish trend, and we are breaking that trend. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. Was just some stuff that I was showing on the Telegram, local scalp trades. But we have broken that channel, that descending channel to the upside, and we are flipping that trend line, the breakout of the channel, to support on the daily time frame. You can see we broke up. We did not come up to our value area high, which we also have a naked weekly point of control up in this purple box. That's our next level of resistance that we should be paying attention to. And we came back down, bullishly back tested the breakout of that channel, and you can see we are holding it as support for now and continuing to push up. So I do expect SUI to continue to break to the upside. Really, the next level of resistance is still the same as in the last few days. I'm looking up to 441 to 445, which is the value area high of our range in confluence with our naked weekly point of control that's up there. Naked weekly point of control at 441 and value area high at 445. We also have the liquidity grab of our last daily impulse up there, right around that general area. And so I do think SUI is going to continue pushing up overall, but we are ranging on lower time frames. If we zoom in on the 2-hour chart and look at our range that we have been in now since Sunday, last Sunday. So we've been in this range for a week now, or 8 days now. And if we look at the volume profile of this range, let me just go ahead and let me just re-pull that volume profile of this range. You can see that we're just pretty much trading the range. We're forming a range above our larger breakout of the descending channel. And I do think as long as we maintain above this descending channel, which is coming in around 377, we have a high probability to break out to that 441. But in yesterday's live stream, I did mention a possible 3-wave correction down, and I do want to explain that as well. So you can see we topped out here, front running the SFP of our highs at $4.30. And we got a break in market structure bearishly, broke the lows of the range. So that is considered a bearish break in market structure. Because we have broken market structure bearishly, one of the things that we need to be looking at as a trader is a lower high coming in on the charts before breaking down and seeing a lower low, creating that 3-wave zigzag correction that often happens within impulses or at the end of impulses. And so yesterday, we had come up to our golden pocket, right in this area, about $4.02. If I pull our golden pocket from the highs to the lows of this first dump, our potential A wave down, and we turn on that golden pocket, you can see where did we come up to and reject from? We came up to our golden pocket, and we did reject from the golden pocket, potentially putting in a lower high on the charts before rolling over and coming down and making new lows and taking our lows of 365. But we had bounced from the value area low. You can see we're bouncing from the value area low of our more macro range, and we are, the value area high of our more macro range. And this value area high does change depending on, like, when you're zoomed out to the daily, it is up here at 445. But when you're zoomed in, it does bring it down. So that's a little bit of a glitchy thing from trading view. But just be aware we're bouncing from that lower time frame value area high, and we are breaking back up and attempting to break above our local golden pocket. You can see we did wick above it today, but overall we still haven't closed above our golden pocket. So rejection on golden pocket yesterday, Sunday, rejection today around the golden pocket. We wicked above to take out the weakened liquidity, and oftentimes you see that weakened liquidity taken out. So now we could see that rotation to continue pushing down to break the range lows at 365. But if we can break above this golden pocket at $4.04 and start to close like hourly candles above that golden pocket at 404, then I'm pretty much expecting a move up to 441. If we cannot break and close hourly candles above 404, I'm expecting that rotation down to at least come grab our range lows at 365. And if we do take out those lows at 365, that is a long opportunity that I'd be looking for, a scalp long from that area to bring up to 441. Or at the very first, my first TP level would be the point of control of the range, So we would pull that same range and we would just look at wherever that point of control's at. Right now it's at 401, but we would pull it after the dump, so it might change. And if we do lose if we do lose 365 and not SFP, then I'm looking to come down to 347. And I showed this in yesterday's live stream, but if we look at that three-wave corrective move down, of this being your A wave, this being a B wave, and this being a C wave down, and you pull that trend-based Fibonacci extinction, which is going to change a little bit from yesterday's pull because we did make a new high, but the general most common targets for an ABC correction is between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. And you can see the point of control is right in that corrective area. Yesterday, it was exactly on that point of control at 347. Today, with the new high, it's shifted a little bit, but that's generally your area where you'd be looking for the end of a three-wave corrective move before continuing to the upside. Okay, that is it for SUI, guys. SUI's still looking pretty bullish. Money flow looks pretty bullish. Not going to go too deeply into that. I would say we're maintaining above the descending channel, forming a range above the descending channel, and we could see a continuation not only up to 445, by the way, guys. If we do range for a couple weeks above this trend line and we really start to break this range, we could see two things happen. We could range here for a couple weeks, break the range up just to pierce up into that value area high, reject, and then come back within and see a bit of a bigger dump. That is your bearish case scenario, but your really bullish case scenario, which does look more likely to me, is that you form this range, you break out, breaking up to the value area high, maybe see a very small rejection, and then continue the breakout up to new highs, up to maybe even taking out the all-time high around the $5.37 mark. So I would really be looking at, and you can see I have some targets above us between the 1.236 and the 1.618. That is where your larger fifth wave target is supposed to end of a weekly impulse, and that's between 622 and 762. So I do think that SUI has the potential over the next weeks to pump all the way up to that area of resistance. Okay, that is it for SUI. Let's go ahead and go into Say. Say is looking just continuing to range, guys. I'm not going to go too much into depth into Say because we are seeing the rejection from our macro golden pocket. Let's zoom out onto the daily chart. And if we pull a golden pocket from the highs of the pitchfork to where we made our lows at the bottom of the pitchfork, the golden pocket, first of all, our non-logarithmic golden pocket is coming in at the top of the pitchfork between 50 cents and 52 cents. That is going to be important because that is right at the top of the pitchfork, and that will be a major rejection area to look at. But because this dump that we saw here is more than a 30% dump to the downside, and we are using a logarithmic chart, we want to go into that Fibonacci pull, and we want to take our settings and turn it based off logarithmics. So we're going to choose that. You can see that shifts your golden pocket down to the proper area where it should be a proper true 61% retrace. And you can see that golden pocket, that macro golden pocket, now is in alignment with the bottom, the upper pitchfork band, not the bottom, excuse me. And we are at resistance, and we did reject from the top of the pitchfork band in confluence with our 618 log golden pocket. But if we look at what's happening now, we are starting to form a range within this band. And I often say this to you guys, assets like to form ranges within the bands. Like we saw a perfect example of this on Ethereum at the bottom of the band here for a couple weeks. And so we could see something very similar where we range for a couple weeks with inside the band to give time for the indicators to reset and cool off before continuing the push up. And so now going back to Say's chart, we are seeing that bounce from the bottom of the pitchfork band. We rejected from the top, we bouncing from the bottom, and we're just consolidating in here. You can see consolidation and a range starting to form within the band. So I'm looking at two ranges here really on Say. We have our range that was formed down here on the back test of the midline, and then we have our upper range here that's forming. And there's a couple things that I'm watching for Say. If we pull a volume profile and just look at this range, oops, let's pull it all the way. The value area high low of the range is coming in around 33 cents. And if we pull our Fibonacci from the lows of the range to the highs of the range, let me just turn it on the regular golden pocket. And it's our 786 is right down there. Our 786 is going to be right below that value area low around 33 to 32.76. But I also like the golden pocket for a potential scalp long because we do have, that's not the golden pocket, we do have the liquidity grab of last Thursday's lows into that golden pocket. And you can see really like triple lows in here into the golden pocket around 33.84. So if we saw the SFP, confirmed SFP, and then push up, I might look for a long opportunity if we break above this pitchfork band after bouncing from this golden pocket. But really, if we start to lose the pitchfork band again, I'm going to be looking for a little bit of a bigger push to the downside, potentially even coming to grab your range lows at 3106. Overall, it's looking good, and we're just ranging, which we expect. Range and maybe sideways and down within this pitchfork band. Okay, going into XRP. XRP, guys, we finally did, and I talked about this before it happened, a couple days before it happened. We were looking for XRP to break out to our 1.618 based off of the large impulse we were seeing. So first off, go back and watch my live stream from Thursday and Friday if you want in-depth analysis on XRP. But we did bounce from our macro 382. That gave me the bias that overall on the weekly time frame and on the daily time frame, XRP is looking to break up to new all-time highs. So from those lows, from this multi-month correction that we got here, we bounced and we created an impulse to the upside, coming to the top of our descending channel and the value area high of our 8-month long range. Now, after rejecting from the value area high and the top of the channel, we came down to our golden pocket. We bounced from our macro golden pocket. If you pull that golden pocket from the low of the impulse to the high of the impulse, it would help if I chose the golden pocket or the fib. There, you can see that we did bounce from that golden pocket. And so that gave us a bias that we did see a push up. Let me get rid of some of this here. We did see a push up and an impulse to the value area high and broke market structure bullishly, breaking above these daily highs here. So because we're breaking market structure bullishly, we can look for a higher low to come in on the charts. And most common area for that wave 2 pullback is the golden pocket, and then an explosion in a wave 3 all the way up to your 1.618. So we're looking at this as a wave 1, a wave 2 pullback to your golden pocket, and we were looking for a wave 3 breakout potentially all the way up to your 1.618. Well, guess where we pumped up to over the weekend? And over last week, we pumped straight up to that 1.618, and we are starting to find some resistance now at that 1.618. We're just starting to consolidate here and lose some steam. So if we do reject from this area, which I do think is a possibility that we could reject from this 359 area, then what we can do is we can pull that Fibonacci from the lows of wave 3 to the highs of wave 3, and you're going to turn on your targets, which are between the 382 and the 0.5. You can see that that target for our fourth wave to pull back could be between $2.99, really $3, and $2.78. Those are your pullback areas where you could look for longs to bring up in a fifth wave, one more impulse to the upside to make new all-time highs again, completing the bigger 5-wave impulse to the upside from our lows at 162. Now, this impulse does not have to end. The wave 3 that we're seeing right now does not have to end at the 1.618. The 1.618 is your most common area for it to end, but I have seen impulses on wave 3s push up even up to the 3.618, the 4.618, and much higher. So it doesn't mean just because we're hitting into this 1.618 doesn't mean for sure that this wave 3 is done, because so far it is still looking pretty bullish. Money flow still looks pretty bullish, and we are not really seeing the bear divs yet. Let's go zoom onto the 8-hour chart. 8-hour chart, money flow still looks really bullish here. Yes, we are seeing bear divs between these two highs. So now we are starting to see some intermediate time frame bear divs. And we are also seeing bear divs on NAMI. Yeah, with this here now, we're seeing there is a possibility we do in the third wave here and pull back, but we'll just have to continue to see. We have not broken market structure bearishly at all. Like even if we zoom in onto the hourly chart, you can see we are making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. We're pretty much even locally still having bullish market structure here. And in order to really see a breakdown to that $3 level, we're forming a small range. Let's just zoom back into the hourly chart and we can pull our volume profile of since we get into our highs on Thursday, we're forming a bit of a sideways range. So you can pull this range here. And until really we lose our range lows coming in at 346, and that's also around your prior all-time high, until we lose that level, I'm not expecting a bigger pullback. We might just continue to break above this 1.618. But we are seeing high time frame bear divs, so be aware that we could lose it. Right now, I'm definitely not looking for longs on XRP until we pull back at least to that $3 area, or if we pull back and grab the range lows, the liquidity of the range lows, and then got back above it, I would look for that SFP. But that's all I'm looking for. Overall, though, I would like to say overall on the larger time frames, the larger perspective on XRP is bullish, and I'm expecting still new all-time highs to be made because I have a strong bias that this is the third wave of an impulse. Even if we get a pullback, now your wave 4 pullback often lasts longer than your wave 2 pullback. And we can measure how long that wave 2 pullback took. That took 38 days. So we might be kind of ranging sideways and down for a month or 2 months before getting that last leg up on a wave 5 up to new all-time highs. But this would complete our 5-wave impulse to the upside. So overall, maybe over the next month or two, seeing a small pullback or sideways range. But I do expect XRP to continue up to new all-time highs. Okay, that is it for XRP. Let's go into Chainlink lastly. Chainlink is breaking up. Guys, let me turn off some of these levels here. So we talked about this on the stream on Friday, but Chainlink is breaking up into that weekly area, or not so weekly, the value area high of our range that goes all the way back to November of 2023. So almost 2 years now, we have been in this range, this upper range, after seeing a clear expansion here. We had accumulation down in this area, we had expansion, and now we're seeing a clear bigger range form. And so you can see we're hitting up into the value area high of the range. This should be an area where you do consider taking some profits, because if we reject this value area high, there's a very strong possibility that we do at least rotate back down to backtest the anchored VWAP from our cycle highs. And so you can see, actually, I do have that marked out we have a new daily level at 17.85 in confluence with that anchored VWAP. And for me, that is going to be a local support level to be longing. And I would like to say this. Yes, we are at the value area high, but if we zoom in here, you can see we actually haven't touched it yet. We have not actually come up to touch it. It's on the Coinbase chart, it's at about 20.4, 20.42. And so what I'm going to be looking for is, because we're still in clearly impulsive structure to the upside, I'm going to be looking, and we have a couple impulses we could be looking at. We could be looking at, this is a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, 4, 5, or if we're just paying attention to from the last major daily lows, then we have that double 1-2 impulse, third wave, and then we could see that 4-5, 4-5 to complete this smaller impulse here and see that dump from there. So overall, Chainlink's looking very bullish. We're breaking above some key internal highs, those internal highs at 18.7, 18.6, and we're closing daily candles above it. Locally, if we do pull back from the value area high, which is at 20.4, then I'm going to be looking for a long. If we're coming down with bull dips, if I see confirmation, I'll be looking for a long. If we pull back from where we're at now, I'll be looking for a long to take up to that value area high at 20.4. And my stop would go below where I would wait for the bounce, and my stop would go below wherever that wick was on the bounce. So I would be entering a little bit late. Come down to the daily, bounce from the daily, reclaim this anchored VWAP, which is just slightly above it. Then I would enter long, looking to bring up to value area high. My stop would go below that. That's a great risk reward, a 12-to-1 risk reward ratio. And because the momentum on Chainlink is bullish overall, I would be expecting Chainlink to at least come up to 20.4. And if we break out above that, then we could come up to some new weekly levels that are above us. Let's turn those on. the weekly level at a 24.86 up above us, and we've got some other levels. A monthly level is there as well. So a monthly and a weekly at like pretty much $25, 24.8 to $25. Yes. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at for Chainlink. We are at resistance, guys. A lot of these altcoins, now I know that Bitcoin dominance is dropping, but a lot of these altcoins are at some resistances. Solana at its major golden pocket resistance. Chainlink at its major value area high resistance, XRP at its major 1.618 resistance. Ethereum's not really at the resistance, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but a lot of these coins are at major resistances, and we could see some pullbacks at least for a few days, even if it's just a 5-10% pullback to come bounce from local support levels. But be aware, we are seeing some high time frame bear divs, or at least intermediate time frame bear divs, and we are at resistance. So I would definitely not be longing right now. If you miss the pump, you miss the pump, but it is bad risk management to look for longs right now, unless they're super low time frame scalps with predetermined stop losses of scalp trades. But anyways, that's it for today, guys. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did learn anything or got any insights at all, please like the video. Please share the video. I will be live tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully you will join me there. I will see you tomorrow.